1580, 103.3 WPKY, and WPKYonline.com. Time to take a look back at last night's Caldwell County game with the coaches and, of course, your host, Bob Hayes.
Good morning, Tiger fans, and welcome to this morning's Saturday morning quarterback show. The Tigers had a very good night in Marion last night, easily handling the Gretna County Rockets by a score of 36-14. The score not indicative of the dominance of the Tigers in the first half. I'm joined this morning by Tiger head coach Wayne McGowan and Coach Earl, and we'll begin to break down last night's action after we return from these messages from our sponsors.
Hey, Mom, penny for your thoughts?
I was thinking about how times have changed. Do you remember when folks would pump your gas for you? I miss those days.
Well, I know the Marathon Max's location on Legion Drive still pumps your gas.
They do?
Yep, I think it used to be called MoGas. It's the last full-service gas station in Western Kentucky.
This is Max Arnold. This is your personal invitation to visit my family store. I guarantee you'll get service to the max every time.
Fuel for you. Fuel for your vehicle. Max's Convenience Shops. Max's.
Confleur Cafe and Cocktails joins the worlds of cafe, cocktails, and confections. A European-inspired eating and drinking experience with a southern twist right at the confluence of the Tennessee and Ohio rivers on Broadway in Paducah. Confleur offers handcrafted pastries, made in-house ice cream, a delectable menu, and exquisite cocktails. Whether you enjoy brunch, afternoon tea, or partaking in golden hour, Confleur is sure to exceed expectations. Find them on Facebook and at confleur.com.
First Southern National Bank's Southern roots run deep. Founded in a small Kentucky town, First Southern has always used their example, influence, and resources to help others make wise financial decisions. They know you want to be in charge of your money and to feel valued by your bank. At First Southern Bank, you're more than a number, which is why they've provided personalized service to their customers for more than 35 years. Visit fsnb.net to learn more. Member FDIC.
Life is filled with moments we share with those we love, worry about, and strive to protect the most. At Woodman Life, we provide life insurance and retirement products to help protect you and your family so that you can enjoy all the moments to come.
This is Josh Ray, your local Woodman Life agent. Come see us at 1009 West Main Street or give us a call at 365-6111.
Certain eligibility and age restrictions apply. Woodman of the World Life Insurance Society, Omaha, Nebraska.
We've all heard the phrase, service above self, or servant's heart. There are some that actually live by this. We call these folks hometown heroes. Nominate your hometown hero by going to WPKYonline.com and clicking on Hometown Hero. They just may be recognized as the Hometown Hero of the Month. The Saturday Morning Quarterback Show continues on WPKY. Here's your host, Bob Hayes.
And welcome back to the Saturday Morning Quarterback. Wayne, you and the coaching staff had to be really happy last night with our team's performance.
Oh, yeah, we were. The plan was to come out fast. Getting the ball first was really good for us last night. Get our offense out there and to establish some offense early and take the ball right down, marched it right down, and got 6 on the board pretty quick.
And everything clicked last night in that first half. We have strong offensive line play, good backfield play, defensive line play. Our linebackers were everywhere, it seemed like. And to start the game, a really nice tribute by Gretna County to honor Coach Barnes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I just wanted to commend those guys down there for doing that. Coach Sean Thompson, he told me earlier in the week they were going to do something for Coach Barnes and Coach, the family and all. So, just big thumbs up to those guys. Is really, really nice tribute, and it's just another way that Coach Barnes has affected people in this area. It's just so many good things are said about him, and people show up and just show and display what he meant to them.
And the other good thing, when they brought the football in via the helicopter, it felt like our press box was air conditioned. We kept all that wind was coming over, and we just wished it would have stayed longer at midfield. Finally did cool down in that press box, but we excelled last night in ball control. Again, one of these situations where we have 6 drives in the first half. the final drive only being one play, the first 5 drives ending in touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. So, that's great efficiency, moving the ball in different ways, throwing it a little bit, running it a little bit, run outside, run inside, There again, our guys up front did an excellent job of getting on people and creating seams, giving Russ a little time to throw it. So it was all a pretty good first half.
The other thing about that is we weren't gashing them with any 25-yard plays. We were 4 yards, 5 yards at a time, and methodically moving it down the field.
Now that's good as well. Sometimes we may quick strike you. It was a good sign last night that we were able to hit you for 5 or 6 yards. Tempo was up. We continued to move the chains, get first downs, and move the ball down the field.
And always an indication in the pregame warm-ups how we're going to play, and I'm sure we warmed up well last night.
Yeah, I thought we looked pretty sharp. Considering that atmosphere is different. Just the people, the fans itself, they're right on top of you, which I like. I mean, it's pretty nice actually. The hill back there, our people have to sit, and looked like about half the hill was their people last night. So, but that was
big crowd.
Oh yeah,
last night.
Oh yeah, really big crowd. Well, we had a big carry-in, big following, and want to give thumbs up to the fans who traveled and was a part of that big victory last night.
That was a stadium where we feel like in the press box you can reach out and touch the field. You're that close to it,
Yeah.
And obviously gives us a better advantage of what we're seeing.
Exactly.
Well, Crittenden wins the toss last night. We have our string broken in winning the coin flip, so Crittenden wins and they defer. So we get the ball to start the game, and we take over the kickoff at our 37-yard line, and as I mentioned, methodically move it down the field. The drive takes 10 plays, and we feature in that drive 4 De'Eric Hollowell runs totaling 28 yards, no big ones. Russ Bashir carrying twice for 8 yards. Russ hitting Tripp for 11 yards, and Tripp had 5 catches last night, getting active in the flow, and maybe his numbers being called more often.
Yeah, 10-play drive, and it's a pretty quick drive, so 10 plays, that's really good. Tripp did a good job last night. We just saw some matchup deals out there where we thought it was favorable in our part. Give Tripp the football and then, allow him to, use his ability and get upfield, make some plays.
And we also hit Barron Wells twice on passes for 5 yards, and on 2nd and 10, or actually 2nd and goal from the 10, Russ hits De'Eric with a swing pass out of the backfield that at first it looked like the ball was tipped in the air, and after further review and talking to the sideline, it was tipped. But to De'Eric's concentration, ability to zone in and lock in on the ball, he catches it. Gets down the right sideline and gets it in the end zone for 6.
Oh yeah, great concentration. Little tip there. The ball comes out a little weird at you sometimes when it's tipped like that, but he kept his eyes on the ball. He focused on the ball. We teach our kids you catch the football with your eyes. You got to see the ball to catch it. So he did a great job of focusing right there, and and after that he knows what to do with it. He got his shoulder pads low and looked like he was just low crawling down the sideline there, and he burst into the end zone for the first touchdown.
And that's what it looked like from us, that his knee was down about the 4 or 5, but he was just low and prone and dove into the end zone.
Oh, yeah. Great
and
effort.
The extra point added by Blake Viverette. So at this point, we're up 7-0, running 10 plays, maybe taking 3 minutes off the clock and all of that. So then Crittenden County, their first possession, they receive the kickoff and pick up 1 first down, and then they have to punt. And this is one of the situations where it was a line drive punt. It looked like one of those footballs you'd put in a pitching machine.
Shoot it out.
Shoot it out. But Max Kramer makes an over-the-shoulder. That ball didn't get 8 yards off the ground.
I know it.
Makes an over-the-shoulder catch, one of the better catches I've seen, in a position where you're not expecting to catch it.
Right.
And turns upfield and gets maybe 10, 15 yards on the return.
Yeah, that was just heads up on Max's part. That ball, I don't really know how he saw the ball, because like I said, it was on a line like that, and he was trying to get down to get his block set up, and all of a sudden, surprise, there's the ball right in your lap, and but good heads up play. He secured the ball, made the catch. A lot of times you're just afraid that thing's going to hit somebody and bounce off of him, but he did a good job of catching it and turning it upfield and making a pretty good run out of it.
Just as they teach you in every sport, if you don't have your eyes on the ball will find you.
It'll find you, exactly.
And you're right. Max could have easily been running downfield to
hit
set
him right
up
in the
his
head
block.
or something,
And
in the back.
It maybe would have gone over his head. He had to reach a little bit for the ball.
He snagged it a little,
but, I mean, kudos to him for eyes on the ball.
Exactly.
So we get the ball to the Rocket 36-yard line. The Tigers cover that 36 yards in 6 plays, with De'Eric carrying on 5 of the 6 plays, gaining 21 yards. Sandwiched around that was a 15-yard pass reception to Trip Branch again. So we're liking what we see at that matchup, obviously.
Oh yeah, I thought we were favorable in the secondary with those guys, with our guys on the outside. So yeah, we just got to give what they're going to take, and we were able to do that.
And so the final play of that drive, De'Eric powers in from the 2-yard line, and Blake adds the extra point. We're leading at this point 14-0, just 8 minutes into the ball game. And right now, from our viewpoint in the press box, we were making it appear easy.
Yeah, don't mean to boast or brag, but we just wanted to be able to come out and establish ourselves, and we were able to hit some plays, and things were going really well, and confidence was starting to build on our side, especially offensively. That was good for those guys to build that confidence early like that, and be able to establish the run early, and just continue to play well.
And with Crittenden's second drive of the night, on their kickoff, they incur a penalty, and they have to start from their 15-yard line. And on 4th down, they're trying to get the first down deep in their territory. They fumble on a good hit. If he had not fumbled, Tate had him maybe a couple of yards short of the first down.
Right.
So at that point, you knew they were gambling, trying to maintain and keep a drive going, but gambling certainly didn't pay off for them. So Drew Davis gets on the ball at the Rocket 14-yard line. Just all throughout the night in those first 2 drives that Crittenden had the ball, Wayne, solid tackling, gang tackling, and they weren't whipping us at all at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we have to what we have to do up front is use our quickness, and I thought that worked pretty well last night. We were able to penetrate a little bit, and our outside linebackers did a great job. John Paredes and Travion Samuel, they did a great job keeping things bottled up inside. They were pulling and trapping those guys, and they hunkered down and they take on those guards and keep everything inside. And Ben and Tate from inside were running to the ball really well. Max did well, setting the edge. So, it was one of those deals you talk about how you want to see it done, and it was being done last night. And just to commend those guys for paying attention to detail and doing their job.
You almost never saw a player out of position last night. That was our reaction up in the booth. Like you say, we noticed Travion and John Paredes' play throughout the game where nothing was getting wide on them.
Right.
They were forcing it back to the middle. And,
exactly.
And like you say, Ben and Tate took over from that point. So the Tigers from Crittenden's 14-yard line take 2 plays to score, with Barron Wells going 4 yards on first down, and that was a pitch out, not the forward flip. And then on the next play, Russ hits Trip Branch with a 10-yard pass. Trip's 3rd catch and averaging 1 a drive, and this one goes for a touchdown. Again, picking on the same secondary fellow or same route?
Yeah, it was just there. The play was there. Great play call, and of course, after he caught the ball, he had to get up in there and then made a guy miss, stiff arm a guy. So it wasn't just a cakewalk into the end zone. So he worked to get himself in the end zone, and he was hungry to score. Good to see him.
And you're right. That's what we noticed about Tripp. It was just not a walk in the park after he catches the ball last night. He fights and stiffs arms and runs over a person on 1 or 2 of his other catches last night. So Blake adds the extra point. We're up 21-0, just 10 minutes into the ball game. And on our side, you could hear the big hiss of air coming out of the Crittenden County fan section. They didn't know what hit them.
Yeah, and you know, the fast start I think was the key. Fast start as well as being efficient and scoring points and getting stops. You know, all those things you draw up and hope to happen. You know, those things were happening, and you know, just have to commend our kids. You know, they came in. We came in with a solid game plan. Wasn't anything really complicated. We didn't make anything. You know, we didn't wholesale change anything. We just came in with a plan, and we executed it pretty well.
And you love those 14-yard drives where you don't have to go 80 yards. So anyway, Crittenden's third drive, they can't move on this series. They go 3 and out, and they punt to the Tiger 44-yard line. And on this one, we commented on the radio, Barron looked like he might feel that ball, but then again, we've seen this all year. We back away from the ball. We don't give it any chance of touching us.
Exactly, and we're playing so well right there, and you know, you don't want to give the other team an opportunity to make a big play on
change
you.
The momentum.
Yeah, change. Momentum's in our corner, so we just wave him off of that, and we'll take another shot at it next time.
And the Tigers start this march again in Crittenden County territory at the 44-yard line. Logan Smiley runs twice for 16 yards. He ran hard last night.
Yeah, Logan did a good job last night. He's coming on. Yeah,
yes,
he's coming on.
Really, really strong running, not just trying to dance and find a hole and shoot through it. He was power running last night. Gets to the Rocket 36-yard line, and then we try the Dipsy Doodle.
The Dipsy Doodle, yeah.
And had Russ put more air under the ball, it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that ball, well executed play.
I thought so. I think just the handoff exchanges were just a little off, and we'll sharpen that up. But yeah, and it was a great time to do it. I felt Coach Will Barnes, he calls that stuff, and great timing. I
thought the handoffs were executed well.
Yeah,
nobody was fumbling around.
Right,
with them.
nobody fumbled
Russ
around or mishandled.
We just got downfield too quick. I think.
Yeah. So we just have to clean that up a little bit, and we may have to come back to that at some point during the season.
And so the ball ends up being underthrown and incomplete. We're fortunate we didn't get it intercepted because both of our player and the Crittenden player were fighting for it. It rolls on the ground. But on this play, and I didn't see it because I was watching the play at the goal line, Russ is roughed.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I watched, kind of watch all the exchanges, and then of course the ball hits the air, and you just naturally follow the ball, and you look back and there's a flag, and we're like, uh-oh, what happened? We didn't have any of our guys back there. And I thought, what did Russ do? But
I look back, I don't see any one of their players, and you're right. I see Russ, and I thought, what's going on here? So the 15-yard penalty against Crittenden moves it from their 36 to the 21, and then De'Eric takes care of that distance in 2 plays, going 7 yards for the touchdown. Again, Blake adds the extra point. This score right now is Caldwell 28, Crittenden nothing. Less than a minute gone in the second quarter. So we've had it 4 times. We've put 4 touchdowns on the board, and we've just barely gotten out of the first quarter. So a tremendous start for the Tigers last night.
Oh, yeah, really great start.
And again, I'm not sure what you all are talking back and forth upstairs or what, but you probably couldn't be making too many changes in the headsets.
No, it wasn't too much going on as far as changes. Just one little subtle thing. They went to some overlook. Tight end was over the wing and the X receiver, if you want to. But they had a little overlook for us there in the second quarter anyway, and we just had to adjust to it just right there on the field. It wasn't we didn't have to call a timeout, and you have a kid like Ben Holt out there on the field, and you scream out a couple things to him, and he's going to get guys in the right position. So we just communicated it with Ben, and he fixed it for us. And nothing really subtle, just kind of one little subtle deal, and that was it.
Changing tactics a little bit,
just a little. We didn't want them to outflank us, with that overlook.
And the other thing, we noticed that they were back in the shotgun early on, and then maybe ran 2 or 3 plays successfully under center, and stayed under center for a long time in the second quarter. I don't know whether they had planned to do that or whether just seemingly they got more out of their under center plays than they did on their shotgun.
Well, they
plays.
went to that old wing T looking stuff, that wing T looking stuff with the double wings and the guys going into motion and run the jet sweeps. Then they'd run the counter off of that. So maybe they felt they were a little more effective that way, and but we were able to adjust to it. I thought pretty well, and control it a little bit.
Well, and with Crittenden's fourth drive last night, they get the kickoff from at their 20-yard line, it's a touchback.
Mm-hmm.
They pick up 1 first down, their second of the night, but then they have to punt. And the Tigers take over at our 20-yard line and begin a 9-play drive aided by 2 15-yard penalties against Crittenden County. They had some real costly penalties at costly times last night for them. Logan Smiley has 2 receptions for 15 yards on this drive, getting him into passing formation and as a receiver. So we had 5 or 6 guys catch passes last night, Wayne.
Yeah, that's spreading it around pretty well with Smiley. We can he's a pretty versatile kid. And thing about Smiley, he's still learning stuff. So it's just
and only a sophomore.
Oh yeah, just a sophomore. So he's going to get way better. So yeah, you put him in the backfield, put him in the slot, and he'd be able to produce for us.
And Derek runs twice for 4 yards and catches a pass for 15 yards, and he goes. He catches the ball well in passing situations.
He does.
So from the Rocket 28-yard line, Russ hits Tate. Tate was in the backfield on this play. We didn't know what you were going to do, but he goes out and gets himself wide open. Russ hits him for a 21-yard completion to the 7-yard line. Was maybe I don't know whether we ran that play but once last night or
we may have probably that particular play. But as far as Tate being back there in the backfield, he was back there a little bit more last night, and you can turn around and give it to Tate, or he can go block, or he can catch it for you. He's one of those good athletic type kids who
he gets 2 receptions last night, both on this drive. This one for 21 yards to the 7, and Logan Smiley takes it to the 5-yard line, and then Russ rolls out and hits Tate with a 5-yard TD pass. Tate fights off a couple guys to get into the end zone. And this time, again, like we did with Apollo, we go for 2 to get the clock running.
Yeah.
We were successful. Derek Hollowell running it in. And score now is Caldwell County 36, Crittenden nothing, which initiates the running clock. And all intents and purposes, the game's over, if you will.
Yeah, our kids were confident that we could get the 2-point conversion. So, it wasn't any second thoughts. We wanted to,
especially since we'd been running them, maybe picking up on most plays 2 and 3 yards.
So we felt really, really confident we can get it in from there and get the clock running, and and our thoughts were, we can get the clock running, continue to play well, maybe get some of our younger guys in. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. It's just the way things played out that second half. So. A lot of young guys did not get in last night, although it was a running clock and we were up pretty good. But, what we needed to do second half was come out there and establish ourselves again. And I didn't feel like we really did that offensively or defensively.
We didn't really have enough time to get in any kind of flow.
The time when that clock's running, it really goes. So
it faster than you think.
Yeah. So, but we wanted to come out strong that second half, and possibly even score a couple more times, just to be able to say, hey, we have a lead, we're up. How are we going to react and respond to being up? A lot of times if you're down, you know what you need to do. How are you going to respond if you're up? And I thought we could have played a little bit better. I was hoping we'd play a little bit better, and come out and maybe score a couple more times and really put the game away.
So Crittenden then gets the ball again, their 5th possession of the first half. They take over at their 40. They pick up 1 first down. Then Travion sacks the quarterback. We only had 1 sack last night, and that was by Travion in this drive. And so Crittenden has to throw the ball, and they throw it up, and it's intercepted by Max Ashley, ending that drive. Then becoming our 6th drive of the first half on first play, Russ is picked off, and Crittenden County takes over at our 43-yard line. And on the first play, Jones finds Preston Turley with a pass that I thought was going to be picked off again, but the kid Turley is 6'7", a good athlete, maybe even reached above Max and took that ball where Max was positioning himself to catch it, takes it down and scores the extra point good. So we're leading now with a running clock, 36-7 over Crittenden, which is essentially ends the first half.
Oh, yeah. And that play there, the Turley kid did a good job of sticking with the ball and concentrating on the ball himself. Thought Max was in a really good position back there, but I don't know. I hadn't seen the film, and it was on that far side. So
I think a foot difference in height may have played a little
I'd
bit
say
of a role
so.
in him picking that ball, because it was a high catch.
6'7", yeah, you just sling it up there for a jump ball, and then 9 times out of 10, I'm sure that kid's going to come down with it.
He's going to have a shot at it, let's put it that way.
Really good shot.
So that's it for the first half, Caldwell, with a big lead at the end of the first half of play, and I'll be back with Coach McGowan and Coach Earl after these commercial messages to discuss the second half.
WPKY. You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions. Like Company Pages, where you can get people excited about working for you. And we give you this toy monkey, which will bang its cymbals when the right resume appears. Okay, there is no monkey. I said there is no monkey! But Company Pages, for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo to try Company Pages for free. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross-country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street, and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
WPKY. Thank you for choosing us. We're 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Be part of history. Join hundreds of runners, joggers, and walkers in the inaugural Hoptown Half Marathon and 5K, Saturday, September 28th in downtown Hopkinsville. Planners Bank and Jenny Stewart Health are title sponsors for these timed events, benefiting the United Way of the Pennyrile. Full race details at hoptownhalf.com, and there's a limited time offer to save big on race registration from yoursportsedge.com. Enter YSE Half or YSE 5K, all one word, to save on the race entry only through September 22nd. Every participant gets a sweet race medal and awesome long sleeve performance shirt. Or sign up to volunteer at the race on Friday's pre-race expo. The inaugural Hoptown Half and 5K is September 28th. Race registration discount now from links on yoursportsedge.com, WKDZradio.com, and WHVOradio.com. Be part of local history by running, volunteering, or cheering in the inaugural Hoptown Half Marathon and 5K, Saturday, September 28th.
It's not too late to lease a residential, commercial, or agricultural propane tank, so you'll be prepared for this winter. Give Fortner Gas in Princeton a call today to get on their schedule now while prices are still low. If you are an existing Fortner Gas customer and refer a friend for a new tank installation, you'll receive 50 gallons of propane for free. Fortner LP Gas Company in Princeton, a locally owned family business since 1951.
This is Mallory Hancock Lawrence, and we love our Caldwell and Lyon County friends. We invite you to come to Cadiz anytime you can to shop with us. We're making it even easier for you. Whether you work in Cadiz or just come to town for a visit, stop in and shop with us. But if you're in a hurry, you can pre-order your groceries at HancocksNeighborhoodMarket.com. It's so easy and convenient. Of course, we want to see your smiling face anytime we can, but if you're in a hurry, HancocksNeighborhoodMarket.com is the way to go. Hancock's Neighborhood Market, Cadiz.
Rader Auction Company is owned and operated by Delbert Rader. Delbert has been in the agricultural field for over 40 years and is well known for his knowledge of used equipment. Rader Auction holds 4 consignment auctions a year, and they buy and sell equipment on a daily basis. If you're looking for a piece of equipment, they'll do their best to locate it, and financing is available. Contact Delbert Rader at 270-881-2610 or Amy Ezel at 270-604-2880 for all your used equipment needs. Rader Auction Company, Skyline Drive.
For a delicious meal, try Kay's Kitchen in Princeton. They have great home cooking, just like Mom and Grandma used to do. Enjoy cook-to-order breakfast every day, all day. Daily lunch specials include favorites like open-faced roast beef, grilled chicken tenderloins, country fried steak, smoked pork chops, and catfish and shrimp on Fridays. All your favorite veggies, too. And don't forget Kay's homemade desserts. Open Monday through Thursday, 5 to 2, Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, 5:30 to 11. Kay's Kitchen, 501 North Jefferson Street, Princeton, 1 block from the courthouse.
The Saturday Morning Quarterback Show continues on WPKY. Here's your host, Bob Hayes.
And welcome back to this final segment of the Saturday Morning Quarterback. At halftime last night, Wayne, few adjustments had to be made. What'd you tell your kids?
The main thing was we were telling them, 36-7. How are we going to come back out and play this second half? We're going to get complacent, or we're going to come out with that higher energy and continue with the good play, fast play. But 36-7, and you've really played really well that first half, and the other team's kind of not on their game. So, but for our part, we do need to be able to come out and establish ourselves when we're up like that.
We also knew at halftime that Derek was experiencing
Mm-hmm.
some issues, heat-related issues,
Mm-hmm.
and so we didn't think he'd be playing in the second half with the big lead, and he didn't. So, anybody else with any kind of similar heat?
No, I think we're pretty well okay there. I was just a strange situation with him. He's in such good shape all the time, and he runs really, really hard at practice. He goes hard.
Running hard last night.
He ran hard, really, really hard last night. So I don't know. It was just something. I don't know.
Felt
Mike
good
Long,
as the game went on, or did he want to get back in?
At that point, we just shut him down. Our trainer Mike Long was taking care of him, and
you have to hide his helmet.
Well, I would see him without his helmet. Then I looked around again. He didn't have his helmet on. He didn't have his shirt on. So I was like, well, and then Mike just kind of, he kind of updated us, said, he's a little high. We're gonna try to cool him off and take care of him. And that's the main deal. You want to take care of the kids. The game doesn't matter at that point whether or not he's back in the ball game or not. The health of the kids are always important to make sure you take care of those kids.
And with Crittenden County winning the toss and deferring, they get the ball to start the second half, and right off the bat they go 3 and out. The Tigers get a nice punt return from Barron Wells on that, and we take over at the Rocket 27-yard line. Looks like maybe we're going to get another touchdown out of this, but Russ is sacked for a 13-yard loss. And I thought they were blitzing. They were sending the house seemingly on every play in that second half when we had the ball.
I think they did pick it up defensively as far as sending blitzes.
Whether more so in the first half, or maybe they were a little bit more motivated after halftime last night.
I think so.
So Russ is sacked for a 13-yard loss, and we have to punt. Crittenden's second drive, they only to have an intercepted pass, and the Tigers take over at their 10. We have to punt. Then Crittenden takes over at their 10 after a penalty. And at this point in the game, it looked like that there was a penalty being called on every play. Chippiness and all that situation. And I think about this time we lose one of our players in the game.
It did. It got a little chippy there. And our focus kind of went in the direction of trying to retaliate or say something to those guys. We just have to be smarter than that, and the game was somewhat in hand. So you just have to be smarter and not react to what they're saying. If you get in those piles and people are pushing and whatever under the pile and getting up and chest bumping each other and whatever, but we just have to be able to respond to that positively.
And with our second drive, on our first drive we go 3 and out. On our second drive, we go 3 and out again. So we weren't getting any continuity established. As I say, they were a little bit more fired up defensively, it appeared to us in the press box. So Crittenden, then the third possession, Crittenden turns the ball over downs. This was like 3 here, 3 out here, 3 and out here, 3 and out here, 3 and out there. Meanwhile, the clock is running.
And that's, for our sake, that was the best thing. We weren't playing well. We were picking up some silly penalties, but yet still the clock's rolling, and this game's ending pretty quick.
And you look up, there's 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the game. 4 plays later, you look up, 7 minutes and 20 seconds, and things are rolling right along. So the third Caldwell County drive last night, we run 4 plays. So a total of 10 plays so far here in the second half. One of those plays was a 12-yard run by Logan and 2 passes to Tripp, totaling 11 yards before we fumble the ball, and that was on a muffed handoff exchange. I'm sure I don't.
It was just the exchange there. It was just one of those deals where I think it was Smiley, and it was Smiley. And I talked to him right after, and he took credit or took fault for messing up the handoff, but we don't. I didn't. A lot of coaches would have jerked that kid up and chewed on him and all this, but we have to learn. He's still a young kid. He said my pocket wasn't good, and I'm sure that's what the case was.
Well, maybe your pocket's not good, your eyesight maybe not as determined looking at the handoff, or whether you teach them to look at the handoff.
No, we try to teach them not to look at the handoff. Better look at your landmark where you have to run. So yeah, quarterback's job, put it in there, and it's our job as running backs to make a great pocket so it's a smooth exchange.
So we fumble. Crittenden takes it on their 4th drive, and they begin a 12-play drive, which takes most of the fourth quarter. And they eventually score on a 5-yard pass from Jones to Hunter Boone. Or is it Hunter Boone? Tyler Boone. Yes. Hunter, the older brother, I think. So, game's over. The PAT was good, making the score at this time. Caldwell 36, Crittenden 14. Tigers run out the clock. We get in our victory formation, and boom, the second half goes quickly. Again, the high point of the night last night was scoring on our first 5 drives. We'll probably not want to watch the second half of this game this week in practice, Wayne.
Maybe the only half we do watch to see how we can, come out in the second half when you're up. So. We'll watch it. We'll watch it, and we're going to learn from it and get better.
And let's taking our focus now on the stats for last night in the rushing department. Derek with 12 rushes for 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. Russ Bashir 5 for a -10, and he got sacked a couple times in the second half, which obviously hurt his stats. Logan 6 carries for 36 yards. Barron 1 for 4. And the team on those victory formations losing 1 yard on each of those 2 snaps and -2 yards there. So we have 26 rushes for 95 yards. Pass receiving, Barron Wells 2 catches for 6 yards. Tate 2 catches for 24 yards, all in a series of almost back-to-back plays. 1 touchdown for Tate. Tripp Branch 5 catches for 43 yards. 1 touchdown. Derek 2 catches for 13 yards for 1 TD. Logan 2 for 15, and Max Ashley 1 for 2. Total of 104 yards. And Russ was 14 out of 18 with the 1 pick, passing for 104 yards. So again, another efficient passing performance by Russ.
Exactly. He was able to find those guys, and had time to find them, and a little bit of the rollout game, which is going to benefit Russ. He can get out that edge and get those guys the ball quick and let those guys go ahead and make plays.
And last night in the turnover department, they were even with 2 each for each team. Penalties, Caldwell was 6 for 68, Crittenden 8 for 87. So there were a few 5-yarders in there, but most of them were 10 and 15-yarders.
Big penalties, yes.
And in the defensive category department, the tackles, Tate leads us with 10. As you say, Ben, those inside linebackers all over the field last night, Ben with 8. Devin Kilgore on the line with 7. John Paredes on the outside with 5. Again, we just remarked how active he was last night. Drew Davis, 5 on the defensive line. Travion with 5 again on the outside, how active he was. Elijah Shaheen with 3, Max Kramer with 3, Aaron Hensley, who we see getting in the game more and more and more, with 3. Only a sophomore, I presume.
He is, and Aaron has a good motor. He's not a very big kid, but he's quick. He has a motor. He loves to get after it.
And Jack Stevens with 2, Barron Wills with 2, and Russ Bashir, Max Ashley, Kenyon Richardson, and Blake Vivrette with 1. And Blake was assisting on that kickoff return that they got upfield on. And
they did. They broke one on us. And
he
Blake's a good athlete. I didn't have any. I figured Blake would get the kid. He's a good athlete out there.
He put a pretty good lick on that
I thought
kid.
he did. I mean, it was on their sideline. Looked like he came down, broke down, and thumped the kid pretty
he
good.
Didn't shy away from the hill. We were up in the, Wayne's got his kicking game going here and working with the kickoff guy to make tackles.
Yeah, I want to try to avoid that at all costs, or our kicker making tackles. So yeah, Coach Tanner Reed might get a little upset with that.
And Dravion with the only sack last night. Drew Davis, fumble recovery. Tate causing that fumble, and Max Ashley with the interception. And with Crittenden, the total offense last night, they come in with 171 yards. We have 199. When you look at Crittenden's 171, 5 plays that I went back and looked up account for 105 yards. So their other 42 plays, they get about 66 yards. So 1.5 yards a play, and that's not going to win you many football games.
Exactly. We were able to limit them to big plays, but they have a few. They gassed us a few times.
43-yard pass, a 25-yard pass, and a 15-yard pass were their passing efforts last night. And you mentioned earlier how we had kept the ball for about 19 minutes, Crittenden for 29 minutes. So we were on defense quite a bit.
We were, and we want to try to keep our defense off the field as much as possible, but in some situations, you're going to be out there, and I thought we played pretty well out there defensively all night long.
And again, we want to remind as we wind this show down about how courteous and hospitable the people were at Marion to us last night, and also with the Coach Barnes tribute, which was a real first-class gesture.
It really was. There again, Sean Thompson was spearheaded that effort, and just want to thank him and their coaching staff and their community for allowing that to happen. A lot of communities, may not even acknowledge, a good man like that. So we just want to thank that community for acknowledging Coach Barnes. And, he and Coach Starnes really got really close in the last 5-8 years or whatever of coaching against each other. Didn't see Coach Starnes last night. I assume he was there, but
I didn't see him either, Wayne.
I'm sure he was there somewhere probably, but and it's just kind of, over these years of coaching with each other, you want to be competitive and you want to beat each other, but at the end of the day, you're still colleagues in this game, in this profession of teaching and coaching kids. So those things like that brings you together as men, and that's what you hope that you teach your young men to be.
It's a good example of being set for these kids out there, which is why football, basketball, baseball, any competitive sport is good, because you learn a lot of things that can take you through life.
It will.
And make responsible citizens out of you. Again, up next now is Union County here next Friday night at Tiger Stadium. They had, I think, a win last night.
I think Murray beat them.
No, you're right. Murray did win. Murray had to go over there. Murray did win that game 21-7.
21-7. So, you get Union County, you're going to get some competitive kids, scrappy kids. I think of Union. I think they'll probably line up and try to run the ball right at you. Of course, I hadn't seen any film on them, so I really don't know. But that's just in the past. Coach Johns over there and his staff does a really good job of getting their kids ready to play, and I don't expect anything less than, a great game, and those guys coming over here trying to knock us off. So
and looking for a big crowd next Friday night at Tiger Stadium. As we ended the game last night, any injuries to report, Wayne?
No, I think came out pretty clean. Just your normal bumps and bruises or whatever. outside of De'Eric, and I like I said, I just think that I don't know, that was a weird situation with him, because he's in such good shape. So we'll just keep an eye on him next week and just progress from there.
And we were looking at Travion as the game wore on. He didn't look like he was letting up on that ankle at all. So.
Yeah, he got healthy. The week off really helped him. Like I said, Mike, our trainer, worked with him all week. He had to get those ice buckets going, stick that foot in that ice bucket, and exercise and tape it, and jog on it some, and get his therapy in. And he was able to return for us last night.
And we have 5 awards that the radio crew do at the end of each game. The H&R block of the game, we're going to give that to Dalton Haney. I'm still impressed with his ability to look around. He's even looking like a pro at center now when he's not looking between his legs. He's looking around and noticing what's going on, and always a perfect snap.
Mm-hmm. He does a great job.
So he gets the block of the game. The play of the game, we're going to give that to De'Eric on the catch. Actually, he gets 2 awards for that same play, the play of the game and the catch of the game on that. So De'Eric has 2 awards so far in his pocket, and we're going to make it a 3rd award here on the Quick Cut Award, sponsored by Big Boys Barbershop. The catch of the game sponsored by Coleman Auto Parts, but De'Eric gets that quick cut because he was cutting back and forth last night really well, and certainly didn't give us any inclination he was ailing, if you will, or not feeling well. And then the power line play, the lineman of the game, we're going to give it to Devin Kilgore. Devin comes up with 7 tackles and probably was a real nuisance.
He was. Again, another quick guy we have. He's getting in that backfield causing problems for him.
And so that's it. Wayne, any final thoughts before we end this show?
Just that next Friday is homecoming. So we like you said earlier, we'd love to pack the house. I think weather-wise, I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be a little warm again this week.
We might want it to rain sometime next week.
It may rain a little, maybe. I don't know, but yeah. But it is homecoming
because I don't have to mow my grass.
Well, there you go. So we expect a big crowd to come out. Appreciate the folks who went over to Marion last night and then watch these young men play the hearts out and pull off a victory.
And Earl, glad you could be with us today.
Thank you, Bob.
And that's going to do it for this show. My thanks to head coach Wayne McGowan and Coach Earl for joining me in the studio today. Tigers were victorious last night over Crittenden County, winning 36-14. Next up for the Tigers, as we've mentioned, is Union County, and that game will be at Tiger Stadium next Friday night. As always, if you can't be there, you can listen to Dennis Stevens, Todd Griffin, Gary Goodacre, and me for the radio broadcast. The live stream will be delayed next week. For Coach Wayne McGowan and Coach Earl and John Miller, this is Bob Hayes, and all of us wish you a pleasant weekend.
You've been listening to the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show with your host, Bob Hayes, and producer, John Miller. You can watch the Quarterback Show again at WPKYOnline.com. For more news about Caldwell sports and sports from across the area, remember to go to yoursportsedge.com.
WPKY. You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions. Like